Good evening, folks. My name is John, and this is the Homestead Diary. The purpose of this video is to document the different features and things going on with our Hydrotherm brand natural gas boiler that came with the house. The house was built in the early 70s, so yeah, a 50-year-old boiler apparently, but it continues chugging along because we just keep throwing parts at it. We've had it serviced a couple of times and modified slightly by some folks more knowledgeable than myself, and we've managed to keep this thing going. All right, so let's look at it starting from the bottom. Down in here is the combustion chamber, and there's a little flap right there. You can see maybe a little sight glass where when it's running you'll see the flame going, and inside there is where the pilot is. In order to light the pilot light, this dial right here, you turn to the side and then you push in, and then you light the light with a match or whatever and hold this for 30 seconds. And in that time, the thermocouple will open to keep the pilot light port open while and so it's ready when more heat is called for. This right here, all I know is it has to do with controlling how the natural gas comes in, and there are different electronic things where it's when heat is called for from the thermostat and the boiler isn't warm enough, then it'll tell it to start the gas flowing. So this right here is the hydrostat that tells the computer in here or whatever the temperature inside the boiler, and then this right here is our temperature gauge, our visual temperature gauge and pressure gauge. And then coming across here, this is our transformer that operates the first and second floors. The transformer for the veranda suite is actually in the veranda suite in the bathroom on the left hand side, up in a area that's trimmed out, kind of like a cabinet in the bathroom, kind of up high. And so coming across, we have a pressure relief valve that's 30 psi. We also have an automatic air vent. This is designed so that as air comes in from the street, it automatically vents any air bubbles that are in through that. That was just replaced, and that was just replaced as of December of 2022. Now, these are pressure tanks. We have 3 of them. And these 3 pressure tanks, as the water pressure increases and decreases, there are rubber bladders inside of them. And these rubber bladders allow the pressure to fluctuate and be absorbed by these tanks without triggering the pressure relief valve and thus introducing more water to the system when it's not necessary. We have 3 rather than the standard 1 because when we added a loop inside the veranda suite, it was more than the boiler was accustomed to, and we needed the additional capacity. So that's that. If you look down here, there is the valve coming in from the street, and then this is a backflow prevention device to keep the water from going back into the municipal system. This just comes on as necessary. Boilers use water. It's just the nature of the system. I don't know exactly why or how, but it's just something that happens. And so this is the valve going up to the second floor, and it is matched by this second floor valve to complete the loop. This is the Taco brand zone valve. So this is the valve, and this is the power head. When the transformer receives the information from the thermostat and comes across, this right here has a wax something or other inside that heats up and then causes a spring piston to push on the zone valve, and then that allows the water to flow. Because of this pump right here, Taco brand pump, the water is always flowing within inside the boiler. But then whenever a zone valve opens, then this allows it to flow through. This is the valve here that we use to purge the system whenever we need to get air out of the system. If we've done some sort of repair and air bubbles get in there or something else is going with the system, one of the air vents isn't operating properly, then you can purge the system by, this is for the second floor. When you purge, you go loop by loop. And so you open up the valve. This is a manual valve opening thing. You pull across like that, and so the valve is now open. You turn this on, and you allow it to go into the bucket. And you have it in a bucket because that shows you the air bubbles that are coming out of the system. When the air bubbles stop, you're done. Now, one of the things you can do to encourage the air bubbles through is you flip the switch on, and that activates the pump down there, and that will further circulate the the water through the system and push the air bubble out. There's no real set time as to how long it takes. In my experience, in between 15 and 20 minutes per zone is what it takes. We have 3 zones. So given a system that has had extensive repairs and stuff going on with the radiators where repairs are made, it can easily take an hour to purge the system, 20 minutes per zone. This right here is the drain valve, or the purging valve for the veranda unit. It's labeled garage because it used to be a garage, and we get permission from the muni to turn it into a living space, and so that's what we did there. Go ahead and turn this manual off, otherwise when the boiler is on it runs all the time. And so for the first floor, this right here is the zone valve and power head, and then the purging valve here. And then, let's see, coming across I already mentioned the second floor, the garage valve is back behind the boiler, and it is also located behind the second floor valve. And then the valves for the first floor are there and there. And what else is obviously it vents out, and we've had tests performed which show that it's safely venting and there's no problem with carbon monoxide. We do of course have carbon monoxide detectors. It's just the nature of things. Whenever you use a gas appliance, you should have carbon monoxide detectors, just in case for some reason something goes wrong and it's not venting properly. And so that's pretty much it for the boiler. I'm sure that I left some stuff out. Some of y'all who know something about boilers are much more knowledgeable about I and you. If you would please leave comments in the comment section to let me know if I missed anything, if there's anything I should be considering, anything that I can do to improve the unit. And for those of you that feel that this content had some value, won't you please like, subscribe, and share the video. And I hope y'all have a blessed evening.